Eventually the slants all though you all. You still a guest, motherfucker. One little, two little, three little Indian. Grandma's for society, killing them, telling it. I have one little, two little, three little Indian. Grandma's for society, killing them, telling it. House nigga, real nigga, fake nigga, feel nigga. My skin ain't black. What the deal, nigga? Salute on my grills. But it's Aborigine. Owners of the land and every goddamn tree and every goddamn sea. Invaded up across. Step foot on the land and you can step the fuck off. Brave. You gon' make a swing to some tomahawk. Fucking around with us with that black constant. Fake the slave ships. That's the reference. Brave African though. You gon' need more evidence. I'm American, Aboriginal, indigenous. You burgundy is latex. That shit is rhetoric. Stay woke. Aboriginal, get out. Your civil rights acts. All you can be big out. It's Stockholm syndrome. Mixed kids out. Phoenix Moon got the antidote. Get that shit out. Meanwhile, rapping about my birthright. Fuck a freestyle. Each man, each one. Each child. Black Indians indeed now. Man, they indeed now. Holly dog. Title G-Goes, pilgrims get big gold, with Phoenix and be smoke, bring them up B-O's, out of the sleep mode, we ain't black, colors, Africans, or Negroes. I got one little, two little, three little Indian, grandma's for society, killing them, telling it, I have one little, two little, three little Indian, grandma's for society, killing them, telling it, Osio, halido, chimachukma, sego. What's happening? What it look like? Beautiful ones. Let's go with y'all. It's a beautiful day in Indian country. And if you haven't done so already, sign the petition. Sign the petition. Like really, I know there's some oohs and ahs going on. There's a few people that's feeling a little, I don't know how they're feeling, right? And I'm not going to act like I don't care. But everybody had an opportunity to work towards being a part of this portion of changing history for the American Indian, right? It should be an outpouring of support, because if we can't agree on anything else, we all can fucking agree that we've been misclassified. We've been misclassified. It's not reclassified. It is misclassified. Reclassified means it's final, right? It's not the same thing. Not the same thing. Hold on one second. Let's see. I got a couple of guests that will be joining me tonight. What's up to my mods, cousins, family, loved ones, all that, all my beautiful family in their chats. Everything is healthy, right? You know, I see it's little things and situations that ain't got shit to do with the bill. And I'm kind of getting better at leaving that shit alone. Not with the shit, right? I never really was, but I always felt like, compelled to respond all the time. And shit took up a lot of time. You know what I'm saying? Not only did it take up a lot of time, but it was invaluable time that, I can get back. You know what I'm saying? So I want to make sure that spending my time wisely. You know what I'm saying? That's really it. Just getting it done the right way. Getting it the right way. Can't nobody be mad at that.
right? I always said what I came to do. Grandma and grandpa's business. Now I understand that politics and shit seem to intimidate, um, and confuse people. It angers people. Let me see. I'm trying to put in a password. It angers people and shit. Um, and people have their stance. That's fine. Good thing that there's people that know what has to be done, right? And will not stop until it's actually meted out. Good thing that there are those of us that are actually built for politics. Good thing that when I came through, I came with in-game strategy. The whole time, in-game strategy for the whole next 120 years, where we'll probably not be here. That's what I did in regards to my family, right? Let's see. That's really how this shit went down. And it should be like that for everybody. It really should. It should be like that for everybody, right? Because it's important. Damn it. Hold on 1 second. It's important. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, my bad. My phone was ringing and shit. Let me see. Let me get this back to Damon because he's trying to get in and did not provide the link. Hold on 1 second. So, like I was saying, the door was open. Like, nobody got to tell nobody how to do their job or what their job is. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why people acting shocked. I came in here talking about not just history and genealogy, but law and politics surrounding the American Indians. So I don't know why people are acting fucking surprised, why people doubt, what was said that was going to happen. It was said it was going to happen. I talked about this shit 5 years ago. So even for the niggas and nigga rats that fucking steal and jack information from me all the time, why you ain't jack the fucking form and get something done politically? Since you're going to be mad, why nobody jack the fucking formula to do the politics right for the American Indian? It got to get fucking done. Got to get done. Everybody ain't built for it. Everybody ain't for it. Good. That's why it's always going to be dependents. People that need somebody to do something. Period. The same thing in the structure of government. Motherfucker gonna be a chief without no motherfucking Indians and structure in government. 3 inches. That's what it is. So whether you choose to fuck with your government, a lot of people choose and fuck with another type of government. And this is why they join in tribes, whatever. And let me clear this shit up, right? Because it seems like people just a reason to be hateful. Do not look for me to fucking do it. Don't look for me to be your fucking scapegoat. Okay? Because you got people asking about the $5 Indians and shit. But listen, when we talk about the $5 Indians, please have your real Indian shit set up. If you want talk about a $5 and make sure you got the bona fide one to back it up. If you're gonna talk about the $5 Indian, make sure you got the real Indian to back up. Right? So now everybody that wanted to be mixing up all different ideologies and shit like that with the bloodline and lineage, some of these folks having a hard time. They having a hard time because they didn't fuck with grandma and grandpa. They listened to a whole bunch of other motherfuckers, right? And I'm gonna say this again for the last time. Well, not even the last time, because I'm gonna say it in a different place, loud and clear. The difference between restitution for the American Indians and reparations are for descendants of the transatlantic slave trade. Completely two different sets of that were enslaved here in the United States. Right? So now we have this petition addressing all of the issues that the last two generations have not been able to clearly express without getting water hose, a nice stick upside their head, maybe a burning cross in front of their shit. So at the point where people think they're not supposed to carry the flame, I mean, I don't really know what to tell you. I'm not here to be nobody's entertainment. I don't care about none of the other stuff going on. I'm always in Indian business. I'm always in the business of the American Indians that were misclassified in this country. I don't really venture off too much to nobody else's shit unless they come trolling me, and then I gotta give them some straightening. Other than that, I don't go in other lanes with people telling them who they not, telling them what they should do, and it's who, how they should identify shit like that. Niggas is guilty from going up in other people's spaces, telling them how they need to drop black and this is that and the third. And niggas done pissed a few folks off. So I'm sure if they doing that out in the public, they probably did that to the folks in their family too, and ain't really getting away. Because the whole time people were supposed to be working on their families. The whole time. While everybody out here entertaining on these motherfucking social media streets, on the strip, dancing like scrippers. What's up, my good brother? Welcome, welcome, welcome. How you doing today? Waking up, good brother. You waking up in the Matrix.
Oh, you know how to YouTube try to do, man. I go for YouTube doing better. I'll just the Matrix. That's a good job.
Maybe go out and come back, maybe. The volume is just, yeah, the reception. Let me see. All right, try and get the back. Let's see if that works. Okay, it's our other brother. Damon's gonna try and come back. Dr. Fontaine, how you doing, beloved brother? Waiting on brother Damon to come back. What's up, Dr. Fontaine? How are you?
Doing my best. How you?
I know that's right. I know that's right. It's a beautiful day in Indian country. You know that.
It really is. I'm really excited about this petition and the traction it's getting. Just the folks that's, kind of having those moments like, wait a minute, like, let me go back and check on grandma or grandma. And a lot of times finding out what we found out.
absolutely right. Welcome back, Damon. Welcome back. Is it mic check 1, 2, 1, 2.
Peace, Damon. Still in the matrix a little bit, bro.
Yeah, it's still in the matrix. Okay, take your time. Yes, Dr. Fontaine. The traction is going very well. We got some reviews and received some really warm sentiments from people of various different races and ethnic groups that want to see the Indian win. Just and these are elders, and they've seen a lot over their years, and they've expressed some of their lamentations. There was one in particular that gets me every time, and there's a woman in Massachusetts, a 72-year-old young lady that spoke about what she saw living in Massachusetts amongst a lot of Indians and the red tape, and how harsh the treatment is in their fight and quest for recognition and acknowledgement here. So just hearing from people like that, it makes a big difference. It really does, just to know that people, the human compassion gene exists, outside of the scope in which we generally look to see it in.
I agree. And the other poignant thing within that saying that was on the petition from the aforementioned lady, the large amounts of land being bought in by a certain billionaire that we all know, multinational corporations from abroad, and only ones that notice patterns like this, right? So it was very refreshing to receive that from that lady who's so widely too. Like she's seen things in her lifetime, right? And to still be aware and on the pulse of the real nitty gritty that's going on. They don't advertise or make mainstream media, right? So that was also really refreshing and real eye opening. They always want to make this generational divide, and that just kind of these old heads get it, these young bulls get it. It's just a coming together on a common denominator. Like,
Okay, you're kind of going in the matrix too. The chat is saying that it's a little choppy. Are you guys able to hear me clearly? Or is it just Dr. Fontaine that is choppy? Are we both choppy? Drop a 1 if my audio is sufficient. If you guys are able to hear me. I'm looking to see. Are you guys able to hear me? Drop a 1 if you are able to hear me clearly. I am choppy as well. Okay, so it must be the actual software itself. Let me see. Let me go out and come back. Let me see if it'll allow me to do that. So you guys are saying you can hear me. Let me see if this is better. Hold on 1 second. I'm trying to get the sound better. Okay, 1 2 1 2. Microphone check 1 2 1 2. Can you guys hear me? And let me see if I can bring my guest back in. Is that better? Okay, great. Okay, it's clear. So it's clear on one, and someone's saying it's crackling. It's really interesting. Let me see. Halito, beloved sister, shout out to Little Feather Hummingbird. Hummingbird. Wande, Happy New Year, beloved, to you. Happy belated New Year. So, back to the petition. Listen, we working here. These are the things that are happening. Urban Indian Heritage Society, it's not just a petition. We got way more things going on. The petition is just the front runner right now because we definitely need the traction and we definitely need to be seen. Okay. And we seized the perfect opportunity by doing so, contacting Congress in regards to keeping the 1866 treaties the same, at least for a time until we get to examine them, right? So these are the things that people have not been doing in different walks of life with the other schools of thought. They have not been handling Indian business, right? So the things that they learned in these other places are not applicable here. And for some people to have to be where they were once the teacher in another space and time, such as, the Moorish Science Temple or the Hebrew Israelite camps or the Nawapians or something, you may have been a teacher there, but when it comes to Indian country, you're a student. It's not quite the same. It's not quite the same. Welcome back, Dr. Fontaine. Let's see. I hope the sound is a little better now. You want to give a mic check, sir?
Testing.
You're on point, but they're saying it's choppy. Let's try this.
Testing. Is it still choppy?
Yeah, but it's got to be the software itself. I've repositioned myself. My Wi-Fi is on point. So I'm not really sure. Perhaps it's just the software. Better to me. You do sound a lot better to me. You sound a lot better to me than you did. So hopefully it's okay now. I'm still waiting on Damon Taylor to get back. So how, let's do it again. Hold on, sir.
I think I might be good now.
Yes, you sound very clear.
I'm just gonna have to go with the 5G.
Yeah, I was actually going to switch to my cell phone too, especially, if they're saying that the sound isn't sufficient. I do think it's better, and I'm sure they will let us know when they chop sueys again.
Oh, absolutely. I want to be accessible. So if this is better for everybody, drop a one in the chat for us.
I believe they were saying that you were clear. I believe they were saying you were clear. Hey, Queen Ferrier, what's up, cousin? Hi, Twinnie. Okay, so they are saying that it's better. What's up, Big Way? Peace and love, beloved. They are saying that the sound is better. So how do you didn't give your ones and twos about the petition and the, some of the contributing factors with some of the information that was inserted in it. How do you feel about the work, the body of the work overall, Dr. Fontaine?
Someone like myself who's a social science statistician, uh, researcher, document is very, very exhaustive in terms of the the breadth and depth of research that's been done, the multi-faceted research touching multiple intersections of the American and you know multiple ways that you know that things have been committed, and one of those that we're talking about within the petition of one of the most evident things that we're talking about misclassification. And for me it contributed to the body of research, kept that main idea specifically because we've all been impacted by that in one way or another. Family stories, right? So just of the document itself, and this document, it's still growing, in terms of and everything that we're combing through, right? Um, pages that's nothing to sneeze at, and that might be single space. So yeah, I yield my mic. I would love for us to kind of unpack um during the last live earlier this week, the ethno side. Um, I would love to unpack that a little bit more with yourself and Damon when he comes back on.
Yes, I enjoy. I definitely enjoyed the last one. Shout out to Ishmael Tribe, and for brother Jamar and Wild Indian Jazz Michelle. I actually listened to the playback today, so it was cool. It was definitely cool. The chat was live as hell. Analytics from YouTube, and the chat was absolutely jumping. It was really your screen names. Are you guys able to hear me? Are you having trouble? Drop a one out. Cousin says in and out. And I guess it's choppy again. Hold on. Let me turn on my Wi-Fi.
I just figured out how to turn the camera on, so it's good. I know y'all probably already been saying us, so yeah. If if it's a little bit clearer, if you could drop a one in the chat, that would help. That Jill still chop. All right, so I'm seeing the two in the chat. All right, still not able to hear anything. Okay. All right, we're gonna get this. All right, I think Phoenix is on the way back. It's choppy.
Two,
Could y'all
one,
drop it?
two. 1 2 1 2. Is that better?
Can't hear you, Phoenix.
I
You hear me?
absolutely do apologize. I'm really not sure what's going on. This is I definitely don't want to start the stream over. I kind of want to move through this, and I'll talk about the petition. The numbers is looking good. The numbers is looking good. I am super excited. We still now listen. The worst case scenario is there's no worst case scenario. We're going to learn how to perfect speaking for ourselves and speaking up for ourselves. We don't have anyone currently representing the American Indian, the misclassified. The squeaky wheel gets the oil, right? And now this is we're starting to apply this pressure, and this is the first of its kind that is actually being applied. And I'm happy, like I said, I'm excited to be a part of it. I'm glad the sound is doing better. I definitely tried to finagle with the finagling. See how things was going. I thought I was going to have to go get moon pie because staying here old school human antenna. Remember how our cousins used to make us stand in front of the TV to get the reception just right and stuff like that. Make us hold a hanger. That was one of the problems of being a little cousin, boy. You got told what to do all the time. Got sent to do all the chores nobody else wanted to do. So yeah, I'm glad the sound is better. Dr. Fontaine, why don't you give a mic check also?
Mic check. Just make. Can y'all hear me? One in the
Can't
chat.
hear you at all, sir. Are you on? You off mute?
It's off
And
mute.
I am completely unable to hear you.
How
I
about
don't know. Are you guys able to hear Dr. Fontaine and maybe I'm not able to hear him? I think they heard you fine. And here's Damon. I think they heard you fine.
Can y'all
But
hear
I
me
was
now?
having difficulty hearing you. So I guess it's
I
better.
can hear
What's
you?
up, GT?
What's good? What's good? You had to switch whole device and everything, so at least it look like y'all can hear me now. What's good with y'all out here?
Doing our best.
Oh, they're
Great
playing games.
day in Indian country. Numbers going crazy on the petition.
Facts.
Feeling good about it.
Yeah, we should be. I mean, look, we got thousands of people already. That's a fact. We get to say that. Thousands of people definitely signing on. And I heard y'all earlier talking about. Well, I heard Phoenix talking about like the distinction between like the reparation movement and what we got going on, which is true. But I also see some of the folks from in that movement definitely gravitating towards what we're doing, because I seen some people that was in that last reparations meeting they had, that task force meeting. There's a few people that was in that meeting that actually signed on to our petition, just for the record. So you know what I mean? Like, yeah, the word's getting around. That's clear.
Yes, indeed. I'm looking forward to quite a bit of elders. I spoke with some people. I had to send it to them. So I'm looking for the numbers to shoot up. Also from different groups, various age groups. I'm looking to get some feedback from a lot of the elders that were actually a part of the civil rights movement. Chief Warhorse is certainly one of the closest people that I know that was actually a part of that. But there's some other elders and stuff that I'd like to speak to. I am going to reach back out to Mamie King Chalmers again. I haven't heard from her in a while. I pray for her all the time. That's definitely one of my favorite interviews that I've ever done also. But just speaking with them in the thick of it, being right there in the 50s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, and some of their fond memories and some of their not so fond memories. But just to get the details from the living historian was fascinating to me. Indian civil rights, the rights of Indians, there is still a ton of people that are unaware of what took place April 11th, 1968. again, we notice that there's a lot of people that actually know about the movement, but not the laws that were passed. Not even to the point where they connect themselves to the land, even at that instance where some people are actually still alive and they really just don't have a clue as to what the law says. Um, the misclassification, I think, that kind of speaks for itself. There's many millions of people that will be able to point that out, which is, you know, the reason why people are experiencing a lack of understanding of who they are. They mixed it all up, and it started way before in the 1600s up until present. It's been perpetuated. Now, though, we have the right to self-identify. People self-identify against their own race and don't even know that they're doing so or why. And that is also a problem. So, and that falls into the polar side, because if you don't know what race you are, you're going to misrepresent yourself and represent someone else that may or may not have your best interests, unbeknownst to you. So that's all tied in and includes, you know, some of our grievances and why the Indian is ticked off and needs to, you know, make a way to show that we are still here. And politics is the main thing, and that's what a lot of people got detribalized with, denationalized with, lack of, and what they call non-existing, is because they failed to exist as a tribe, self-governing tribe. So
Yeah, I was gonna say a lot of people are ignorant to facts. So you know that's the one thing that I realize that we're doing is you know educating people as well as activating people. You know what I'm saying? I think that's important.
and we like the natural activations. We don't like the synthetic activations where you got to beat somebody up over the head and strip them of everything they know about themselves. Nah, we don't do it that way. You add on to what they did not know about themselves, and that's what usually changes a person, turns them around towards the direction in which they, you know, will find information in that regard. But other than that, I'm happy where we at. I'm pretty sure we're going to do better as we progress along. Again, we still have this manifesto that a lot of people, you know, if they're mad at the petition, then the manifesto should surely please them, or not. You know, I'm being facetious.
Don't worry, I'm sure they'll voice their lamentations. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I mean, yeah, we got a lot more work to do. If people think that the work is done, and they got a lot more to look forward to. You know what I'm saying? Because it definitely ain't done. You know, our face-to-face engagements, I think, are gonna be even more powerful, considering that we already got so much traction. You know what I'm saying? Online. So yeah, it's like the work is just beginning, to tell you the truth. But yeah, the progress and the pace that we on is awesome.
Absolutely. And in the interim, we're making relationships with people that are actually kind of dealing with the same thing, even if it's just a matter on standing in solidarity on the things that we are all against, right? There's a reason that we may be able to find some constituents with that portion of it alone. We don't have to agree on everything, but hey, we're all against the same thing. And if it's that one thing that helps us to unite, to eliminate that thing that we're all against, and by all means, let's do it. You know what I'm saying? We didn't come here looking for friends. We came looking for family. And it's awesome because we've all been realizing how 6 degrees of separation we've been all this time. So how many times have we encountered conversations where we're talking about genealogy and someone comes in and mentions their surname or who their people are, and we're finding cousins in the next 10 minutes after that conversation. We see that it happens all the time. I think it's going to be a while before other people catch on, depending on how far along and versed they are in their genealogy. So, you know, I wanted to thank you. Someone just sent a PayPal. Thank you so much, Miss Holland. Thank you. Thank you very much for that donation.
Yeah,
People are
definitely. Thank
sending
you. We appreciate.
donations. Thank you very much to UrbanIndianHeritageSociety.org on PayPal. We appreciate that. Thank you very, very much. Oh, man. Cam, it'd be a whole army of people by the time it'd be all said and done. We can't stop the people from being mad, but for the people that are underrepresented, we can definitely assure them that there are people working to make sure that they're heard, and that's pretty much the guarantee. And we're not going to back down. Like, some people are scared, to confront the government. They're scared to confront some of these issues. It's safer for them to just lament, from their position, whether it's their living room couch or in a group of people. They're better and more comfortable, and they feel comfortable, lamenting from that position. As for the rest of us, we're not comfortable in that position. So with that being said, we're going to do something about it, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's
No,
nothing wrong.
not at all. Not at all. Again, that's why they made the sidewalks so people can stay safe. You know what I'm saying? We ain't trying to do nothing dangerous, but we trying to get on. We trying to beat these streets, man, and let the word get out. So yeah, if other people is more comfortable and they want to be safe on the sidewalks, let them stay over there. You know what I'm saying? They could. I love when people talk from the sidelines. You know what I'm saying? Because that means there's more people in the bleachers. I guess. You know what I'm saying?
In the meantime, there's people that's really counting on some legislative changes to happen, such as these elders that signing this petition. This is for legislative change. This isn't for likes or clout on Facebook or YouTube. This is
Absolutely.
long-term work for the generations to come, because they're going to have to carry the ball. After we old and gray, if you better hope your children want to pick up where you left off. Hope your nieces and nephews want to pick up where you left off. This fight ain't done. We just the only ones that's been fighting in about 60-something years. So yeah, I expect people that don't really love the Indian, ain't really confident with grandma and grandpa, to be against what's going on with the Indian. Some of these folks' souls is still raging from their ancestors that was against the Indian the whole time. So I'm aware that they're out there. I'm aware that they're there. And I promise my turtle shell gonna stay tough. I'm just gonna keep working. Gonna keep working.
I mean, they can't do nothing with a rolling train. You know what I'm saying? What they gonna do? Just get ran over? That's that.
Yeah, that's really it. But by no means, I don't want them to think that the Indian is not going to speak for themselves. We're gonna
What
speak for ourselves. That's it.
That's what we're supposed to do. That's what we're supposed to do. Like I think
Right.
people don't understand like the history of petitions. I ain't gonna go too long. I'm gonna definitely let you get right in, bro. But it's like people don't understand the history of petitions. Like if I go back with my ancestors and the people they call Lumbee now, those people that was Croatans, what they did, they signed a petition. They was at the time trying to sign. They was looking to have education on the par with the with the colonists and the other folks that came in. Um, so they was looking for that, and they signed a petition, and that was on record, and that ultimately led to them getting that federal acknowledgement. But as you and I know, and some might not know, even though they have acknowledgement, they don't receive benefits. You know what I'm saying? So, contrary to what everybody believe, all Indians that's acknowledged, they don't even receive benefits. So, this fight is for a lot of different people who may not even be aware. You know what I'm saying? But it's definitely allowing the Indian to have their own voice. That's the fact.
And I wanted to clear up. I've seen questions. People are so afraid of who they call Mongoloids. My goodness, they so afraid of people that any thought of having to do anything to get with them, even if it means getting their own land, like people are willing to let their land go because they feel like them people so fake that they don't even want the shit. Well, I don't even understand those tears. I don't understand those tears. Now, it's a little different for people outside of the 5 civilized tribes. But if you have a land patent from the Dorswolds and you think that you're just going to sit over here with the misclassified Indians and cry these tears and not even apply yourself to go and get your shit from that nation, and which we can't do anything for you in that regard. Why wouldn't you go get that stuff? Why wouldn't you go get your land?
My
Is
mom,
it so that you can just stand with people that still have a grievance, like you having some survivor's remorse? Do you feel like you made it and you leaving the other people behind or something? What's wrong with the people that got them patents? Are you scared of being rejected by the tribe? You don't even know what's going to happen listening to niggas that don't have patents, and that tribe tell you don't go get your patent.
you gotta ask, are some folks scared to win? What if they go and get on there and hit? Yup,
Right.
been waiting right here for you. I think some folks scared.
I agree. I agree. A lot of people are afraid of winning. I agree.
Mm-hmm. Ain't no need to kick. My mom used to say, "Ain't no need." Can we say ass?
Yes, yes.
All right. Yes. After 9, kids should be in bed. But one thing, one common denomination that I often think about, when we talk about the politics, you know, I'm reminded of, the older lady that wrote on the petition, 22-year-old lady, and right now in Congress, renewing Social Security. Now I'm already thinking, I already know my generation. We ain't getting no Social Security. Like, it is what it is. Like, it's just a matter of, preparing for that and establishing the next, preparing for the long term. And at the same time, I can think of aunties and, the neighbors. And I would venture to say that we probably have taken to the or help craft the email to dispute overpayment from Social Security, or dispute it, been received. So it's like, I already see our elders fighting, for theirs via Social Security. And I'm like, I think about all the elders in my family that were reclassified and had this similar fight. And I think about the petition and our demands that we're asking, right? Them to have finally, just cause, what they put and work so hard for. So on, you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of times we can get caught up in the words. When I think about on a day-to-day basis, what folks got to go through, and as misclassified American Indians or urban Indians or what have you. One of the reasons why I was so passionate and excited about writing a petition, helping contribute to. I always say iron sharpens iron, and just being around such intelligent folks that come up with the ideas that we have. I just want to have it already.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I was gonna say it takes that though, us coming together, collaborating and get these type of things done. So, well, one thing I want to say definitely, I didn't get to say earlier, but yeah, I just wanted to really congratulate everybody else who's part of the team. I see people in the chat, of course. You know what I'm saying? Everybody knows, who was part of it. And I just want to really congratulate you guys for staying so diligent. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't always able to speak every time I was working, but I just listened and I was very encouraged. You know what I'm saying? So that same energy is going to keep us going. That's what I'm saying. I just got to keep together, and, again, we're going to wind up helping some people by accident. Some people don't want the help. They're going to get it by accident. So, just like I said, they just sit back and watch.
You ain't lying about that. I see people have these different every black person in the domain of the 5 civilized tribes was a citizen of the 5 civilized tribes according to the law of 1866. Being classified as African never changed that. I don't know where people are getting this information from. That sounds more like a statement than a question. So I think that's based off of what it is that they feel that they know. So I don't know, a lot of confusion surrounding that. So and then in the instance of that, people don't know what the treaties used to say. They weren't interested. They weren't interested. You know what I'm saying? They weren't. Not only were they not interested. Excuse me, that was my FaceTime. Not only were they not interested, but they couldn't tell you when it was changed, how many times it was changed at all. They can't tell you.
I mean, most people just honestly they don't even know much about Indians to begin with. Like we got to be that real, you know. And I'll be this transparent to say like as much like I always knew, like I always ever since I had a memory, I knew you know I was an Indian. I knew I had American Indian lineage. I knew this, but even in that respect, I took a lot of things for granted. So knowing what I know now and knowing that a lot of people just don't know, that creates the barrier. You know what I'm saying? And then people believe like okay, the only Indians that do exist are the ones that's in, Indian territory, Oklahoma, what they call it now. But again, Supreme Court said that's Indian territory. So, they think those are the only Indians, but it's clear that that's not the case. And something I found interesting was when I was doing some research on, the Indians of North Carolina, right? I'm going to read from this excerpt real quick. So this is, again, this Indians of North Carolina, right? Letter from the Secretary of the Interior. So he said something about the Croatans, right? Where he called them and others, right? So I'm gonna read this excerpt. Let me just do it like that. He said, "While I regret exceedingly that the provisions made by the state of North Carolina seem to be entirely inadequate, I find it quite impracticable to render any assistance at this time. The government is responsible for the education of something like 36,000 Indian children and has provisions for less than half this number. So long as the immediate wards of the government are so insufficiently provided for, I do not see how I can consistently render any assistance to the Croatans or any other civilized tribes." So that was interesting to me because I was like, okay, well, I didn't know they considered the Croatans one of the civilized tribes. Right? I thought it was only 5, but apparently it must be 6 now or something like that, or 7 or 8, or any other number of civilized tribes. And again, that's my point. This was, pardon me, what year was this? This was 1890. What I'm reading from. Okay, this was a correspondence with the Secretary of the Interior in 1890. So the fact that is a fact, right? That according to the Department of the Interior, that the Croatans or Lumbee, today are one of the 5 civilized, or pardon me, are one of these civilized tribes. Yet they still don't even receive benefits. And a lot of people, if you go into the history of the Indians in North Carolina, you might have a good idea why they want to marginalize them that way. But it just goes to show there's a lot that's unknown about Indians in general. I'm sure a lot of people just heard that and just learned that today. You feel me? I just learned that when I first read it. So yeah, I think it's important, and that's really a big piece of what we have in the petition as well, is allowing us to be able to educate, our own, our own children and our future generations, which you already know I stand real strong in that. You know what I'm saying? Because these institutions we have now are not doing a good job, and until we pull their coat, they really won't. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we need more and more support in that regard so we can educate, the masses.
Yes, indeed. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Crutch. I appreciate that. The generosity. Thank you so much. Damon.
Yeah.
It's interesting because not only do people not realize the Lumbees don't have a casino, they don't have the federal benefits, but they're not any less American Indian than anybody else. So even in that position, that they're not getting any federal benefits, do them, as misclassified Indians, we know what those struggles are, right? They just kind of made it over these different hurdles. And how many years did it take them to even get to this juncture?
Yep, and he's still trying to push the ball over the goal. You get what I'm saying? The ball still ain't even get over the goal. And like you said, it's so crazy because the same proof that shows how other individuals are Indians and have been misclassified, that same proof is there. That same proof is there for them. Yet and still they're fighting this uphill battle. So yeah, it's like a lot of allies in Indian country, or at least let's say potential allies. A lot of people aren't making folks allies, but I definitely, I definitely see them as allies. And again, that's family for me personally. So yeah, like when we talk about those face to faces, you already know I'm gonna be back and forth in Robeson County and Pembroke and all these little surrounding towns, and making sure people can tap into the petition. So yeah, like you said, a lot of people make a lot of assumptions, about what it means to be an Indian in the United States government system, and they don't understand that a lot of people have fights to fight, even those that are even acknowledged. You know what I'm saying? They still have fights to fight. So yeah, I think we need to be aware of that so that we can come together and have a more unified front.
Yeah, especially it's a it's a retrograde right now. So I think people who are having a hard time communicating themselves, articulating themselves. It might be best that people kind of hold off from speaking, especially from positions of being triggered very easily. You know what I'm saying? Because you want to maintain decent relationships. People don't want to be on exile island when it comes time to legislative things and executive decisions that are going to be something that needs to be determined, for the American Indian. So we're looking to get some things, set in stone. Some people kind of just want to be the boss of their little section or whatever, and all of that's cool. We're trying to make sure that as American Indians, we have some shit set in stone, right? Where everybody is very clear, and I want to make it clear because now this may be where people are now also trying to shift over, right? Because here it is that Black people are looking for reparations, and their reparations for the transatlantic slave trade and being descendants of those particular African people that were brought here. Their check is waiting to be written by Ghana, right? So it kind of makes you wonder what is that they're looking for outside of getting the reparations for that portion of their genocide, or misfortune and misfortunes. So now, when it comes down to the other things that have to get rectified and settled in this country, why do people still think that Indian is? Not only did they consider us last, they didn't consider us at all. They didn't consider us at all. They don't consider the assimilation or anything. The forced assimilation, just in order to coexist. So, and I find that a lot of it comes from people that still don't know what tribe they are. They have like these questions, but it's it's from a position of anger, and that shit is kind of trippy. And hopefully, people will do better with their time and get a little more focused on their genealogy instead of get the weight up instead of the hate up. That's really what it is. That's really what it is.
At times it can be quite high. Have you noticed that?
Say that again.
It's hostile. Have you noticed that?
Very, very hostile. Very hostile. And from a place, and the hostility is coming from a place where they're not really knowledgeable on even how to get out of the situation that they say they're in. And then don't want to take the measures to do anything about it. So it's kind of difficult to take those kind of folks seriously, I mean, I'll listen, but like I said, I don't know if I'm going to take it seriously because I already know that you're the people that I'm working for. The ones that are working against us are actually the people that we show up for work for, because we know they're not going to get in the ring with these and scrap no way. They're not going to get in the ring and scrap. But the sick shit is that they'll rather beat you down and you the one that's been training to get in the ring and scrap for them. The irony of that. The irony.
And won't call anybody down while Congressional Black Caucus is meeting. They're meeting right now. Now, a lot of the issues and everything that we've pondered. Why haven't any of the congressional black in quotations, right? Because some of the individuals that are in the Congressional Black Caucus actually have American. Why haven't they discussed that folks could alleviate some of their concerns or some of the issues down, right? Just a question. I don't have.
I mean, I can answer. I can answer. They too busy playing both sides of the fence. Sorry for my bluntness, but that's what it seemed like.
No, that's quite all right. And you know what? And now that we playing the fly on the wall, because we actually have someone from Urban Indian Heritage Society having dinner with the caucus right now, inserting the Indian anywhere it can be inserted. Anytime they leave a door open for the Indian, we walking through it. We're gonna walk through it. This is why we did all of this shit talking about the background checks and all of that. So when it comes down time to sit in front of the big wigs and get into the big leagues, can't nobody tell us nothing. Background checks. Background checks, being able to be vetted, being able to be invited in places because your name is good in the hood. Even though this ain't where it counts in the corporation, in the corporate boardroom now. Right? This is where it counts at. It wasn't to be so exclusive and, deny people. Listen, I'm an open door and I'm not hard for anybody to find or get in touch with. And so, so are the colleagues or whatever. We sat down, we had a conversation. It started out with 50 people and ended up with 16. Started out with 50 people, ended up with 16. Right? So let's really be fair. Let's really be fair about it. But again, we got somebody sitting with them right now. Any chance they get to ask questions and probe and insert the American Indian, that's exactly what they're going to do. We're going to keep showing up. We're going to have another conversation because there's something else coming up that we just might have to send a whole nother email campaign. They really like the email campaign, y'all. It was smooth, it was clean, and wasn't nobody mad that you had to be an elected voter come then. So now that the petition is actually here, people seem to be upset that you should be a voter to sign the petition for it to count. Listen, sign it for the love, because the idea of them having 100,000 potential voters is still just as compelling for them to want to do something for the ones that they do know that are registered voters too. So if you want to do it for the love, do it for the love, but don't knock the process that has not been available to Indians when niggas was doing black things to find a solution for Indian problems. Please stop the shit.
Or Phoenix, even if they don't want to sign because they feel they can't vote, I mean, sharing is caring. Sharing is free. You know what I'm saying? Share it to somebody else who gonna sign it. Like, it don't take a lot. You know what I'm saying? It don't take a lot to help, to contribute.
Facts. That's really it. Share it to somebody that can. Right? Share it to somebody that can. That's really still, putting it out there where it need to be. This wasn't no selfish shit. See, niggas do selfish shit and want all these fucking accolades. Then when you do the selfless shit that involves everybody, even the shit they didn't even ask for, they got a bunch of shit on their Christmas list that they didn't even know they wanted and wrote down. They got it there. And somehow niggas find a problem with the way you do, even when you show them love. You hug these niggas and they'll punch you in your fucking stomach. Hit you in the ribs. Who are you to care about me? Because it's easier for them to be on their fucking soapbox acting like how hard it is out here for a nigga. When we responsible to make it better for the next Indians coming up. I don't know how people gonna find something wrong with that, but I knew they was gonna find something fucking wrong with something that's absolutely right. And this is the problem, right? So this is why I personally am not gonna be reaching out to no people begging you to fucking work for some shit that you're not about. If you're not about it, that's fucking fine. I am. And there's other people that are about it. Staying out the goo, staying out the mess, really avoiding the distractions and shit like that. Really avoiding the fucking distractions. While real life is happening still in the background. Niggas walking and chewing bubblegum, man.
Hey, I'm gonna keep it real. I don't even get how, like, I've seen people that don't even really like us like that or rock with what we rock with talk about they support it. You know what I mean? It might have been tongue in cheek, but I saw a message from somebody talking. It was a comment, and they was like, you know, it was reparations. I ain't gonna mention the dude's name, but it was basically like, oh, you know, so this is great. You guys are delineating. I'm gonna support this. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if you got these people that don't even like us want to support us, then I don't know. I don't know. But like I said, I love it. I love it personally. All of that is fuel for me. I just keep going. You know what I'm saying? It's like ain't stopping nothing. So I ain't worried about
it. And this wasn't even when we designed this, we didn't have, there was no exclusion. If it applies to you, sign the petition. It was no respect of person. Listen, we talking about the misclassified. Even the Aboriginals that don't motherfucking like moon. The Aboriginals that brought them African people, brought the Indian Weir over to Africa and shit like that, right? Yeah, because Indians did that. And niggas ain't never say nothing to these niggas. They went and did shows with them. They talked to them. Yo, I'm cool with these niggas, right? You cool with the niggas that was trying to stuff grandma and grandpa back in the goddamn black box. But niggas is mad at the motherfucking petition and shit. Niggas is okay with the people that was really kidnapping grandma and grandpa. Even on the Indian side. Like, cut the shit. We ain't even hold that against nobody. We still did the right fucking thing. Still did the right thing and included the knuckleheads too. The ones that's so busy trying to get motherfucking Facebook and YouTube likes, they didn't have time to even consider how to get a legislation put together so they shorties don't got to worry about some of the shit they had to worry about. So they grandkids ain't got to worry about the shit that they had to worry about. So they great grandkids ain't got to worry about the shit that their grandparents had to worry about.
But you know what, Phoenix, though? Like, you've been the one, this is the real thing. You got to just keep it real. You've been the one beating that type of drum. A lot of other people just haven't even been on that type of time. You know, like, you know, let's use some let's take a little trip down memory lane. You know what I'm saying? You know, American Indian Political Party, right? That was a while ago, right? That was you, right? I was part of that.
2017, yes.
There we go. And what happened, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's like we've seen a lot of people, you know, jump out the whip. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people jump out the whip, but it's okay because the whip kept moving, and that's the thing. You've been consistent the whole time. You feel me? And that's one thing I know. I've seen it, and it is what it is. You know what I mean? Everybody come and ask me, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna stand on that because when a lot of people, like you said, they was trying to kumbaya, they was trying to, you know, fall back on some of their own biases and their comfortability of being black and all of this, and just being accepted, because it's easier to be accepted that way. And a lot of people wanted to stand on that. And when you call these folks out, they was all talking about F genealogy, you know what I'm saying? And then next thing you know, Cass is becoming genealogist. It's just ridiculous. The inconsistency is ridiculous. So because you've been consistent the whole time, that's why everything these other folks are doing don't make no sense. It's not supposed to. You feel me? It's not supposed to. Let them keep doing what they're doing. They only gonna trip themselves up because again, we've been on the same track. You know what I'm saying? You've been very consistent, so just keep that up. That's what I say.
Yeah, I'm really thankful, for how the perseverance, man. We done lost family members, all types of crazy stuff, smear campaigns, all sorts of shit that went down to hell with this. But we just keep on moving, keep it moving. And that's really people should be used to that by now. Right? You take a break from YouTube, you don't get on social media for a while. Motherfuckers think they washed it up and all. Just the dreams that they have for people be like, God damn, this is where you're at with it. It's not about that. Like, look at my timeline. I got arrested for activism at 12 years old. Right? When they ran Michael Griffith over, Howard Beach, I got arrested. My family knew then. I was with the shits. So it may be like surprising to people on the internet and shit like that, but in real life, I ain't never let none of my fucking peoples get played by nobody or nothing, yo. I'm just like that. And I got a problem, being oppressed. I've always been like that. I'm not going to be comfortable being uncomfortable, and I'm not going to force any generations going forward in mine to be comfortable being uncomfortable. That's absurd. No more generations of mine gonna walk through here and act like they're not gonna diddy bop through this shit. This is their house. This their house.
We raise a whole new generation, and that's what it is. I mean, that's like you mentioned earlier. You said like this is something for the future. This is for after we long gone. It's like the petition I was like the document I was just reading from. I didn't actually read from the petition, but it's like that Croatan petition. That was in the 1890s when this happened. We talking about 2022 now, right? And about to go into the next year, 2023. And the people who signed that petition, they're not here no more. But you still got people today, using that vehicle to get across the finish line, right? So that's what this is. You know what I'm saying? And it's really about changing the culture. You feel me? Changing an entire culture. So that's what we're doing. And again, like I said, really people can't stop that because it's happening in a real way, in an organic way. Like something that I'm telling you, it kind of did blow my mind because I was looking back at that reparations hearing they had, and I was looking for some clips because people was in that hearing and they was bringing up American Indian topics. They was bringing up the fact that their family lost land through eminent domain and how they were reclassified. And I'm like, do these people have our petition? Like, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? And then I clicked on another video, and the first woman that spoke was this woman named Friday Jones, and she was talking about how she like related to Shinnecox and this that her comments on the petition, but she was in the reparations hearing, one of the first people that was speaking. So it's just that what we're talking about is a real thing. It's an organic thing that people are responding to, and what we're trying to do is it's just changing the culture. You feel me? So we just have to really stay vigilant because people can't get in the way of a tidal wave. They just gonna get wet. That's it. You feel me? So it's all good.
And this is a righteous move. This is a righteous move. No one can find any flaws in honoring our ancestors that they said didn't even exist. Nobody on the planet could really have a problem with that. And notice how they like to, I just don't understand the irony of how people always want to skip past Adrian because that means that will require them to establish relationships among the other tribes of misclassified Indians throughout North, South, Central America, and the Caribbean. How do they skip right past ADRIP to go to UNDRIP and sit at the United Nations with the same people that's been working with all the folks that's been against the Indian the whole time? And that's like going to tell the United's little brother that the United States did something to him. And they're going to just be like, all right, I'll talk to him. And then nothing's going to happen. That's the same company of the United States also. Why do people act like that's not the United States, isn't a part of the United Nations?
Get it either. How people just jump and go, just skip right past goal 100 and go straight to boardwalk and everything, right? You know, we talk nations that's in cahoots with Davos, with the World Economic Forum, with you know, all these other, with the organization, with the International Monetary Fund, the Bilderbergs, you know, all these different multinational corporations, you know, have over time, you know, trickled down, intersected in affairs that go on day to day in America. The same folks that want to skip right past ADRIP and go to UNDRIP. These folks ideals first. And, you know, I thought it was very poignant how we kind of came up with First Americans first. Some folks out there that believe in America first, you know, hey, we believe in it too. And First Americans first. You feel me? So, you know, I rationale of thinking either. Like I get it, and I just don't. You would skip over, you know, skip over the good fans out there, you know, in terms of using what's right in front of us already, and kind of like, you know, walking into really who we are. It's all right there. I always like your analogy, Phoenix. Already, you know, kind of gave us the blueprint, the cheat code of how to beat the final boss. That's all it really is. Peace to everybody in the chat as well. I can't type, but I just want.
Yeah, I was gonna say I see Latasha popped in.
Yes, I see Latasha too. I'm gonna drop the link.
Yeah, see if she can come up. I know she said she was gonna try to make it up. But not what you're saying, Dr. Nolan is definitely a fact. And I think a big problem too is that people make boogeymen out of people. So like, okay, the reason why people run into the UN is because they feel like the UN gonna save them from the boogeyman of the United States. Right? Which don't make no sense. Don't make them a boogeyman. You know, just confront them. You know, just confront them. That's it. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to get all this mythology in your head and all this what if this, what if that, because that's what works. Like that works better than the actual you know, than the actual deterrent. You get what I'm saying? Like you having a deterrent in your head is gonna keep you from making a move when there's actually no barriers in your way. You get what I'm trying to say? And this is what people do. You know, and a lot of people have that mentality where they talk about like, oh, them and they and this. And I'd be like always saying, like, why don't you become a they? You know what I'm saying? Like get some people together and group up and you become a they. You know, we gotta just change our mentality overall. You know what I'm saying? And really you know, just step into an ownership type of mentality. You know, I feel like that's always been a problem. Is that a lot of people just kind of walk around feeling like a ward. Like a ward. I read that word earlier, and that's how they operate, like a ward. But you know, you have to be able to stand on your own too. So, you know, I just leave it at that.
Yes, indeed. That's absolutely a fact. That's absolutely a fact. I agree. I think I'm not sure if Latasha is still with her dinner guest. I did drop the link for her. I do know that Little Feather is unable to, you know, they got the storm going on down there. I've definitely been saying my prayers for the people down in the Gulf. You know, I know they used to storms and stuff like that, riding it out, but we still gonna keep them lifted in prayers and tell them to be careful and keep safe throughout the whole time anyway. I know they used to hurricanes and stuff. We in New York, we used to it too, but you always want to make sure you tell your peoples, you know, that you're thinking about them and keep them in your well wishes and prayers during times like this, because can't nobody defeat Mother Nature. She's hands down undefeated.
Yeah,
So
that's true. That's true. And definitely, yeah, I want to tell a little further, and the rest of our family out there stay safe. That's
yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Did you guys have anything else you wanted to talk about? Damon, wait a minute. We can't do. Let's just talk about Hot Almighty and how hot you and Oz's show is. Your Indian country is
I
building
appreciate that.
with so much flavor. Please, please tell us. Tell us about Hot Almighty. Tell them about Hot Almighty, y'all.
And
I
where we
appreciate that.
watch it or listen or stream it at.
Okay, well, definitely Hot Almighty. You can find it on everywhere you can find podcasts. We on Apple Podcasts. We on Google Podcasts. We on Spotify. Like I said, just about everywhere. I think you get a podcast, you can find Hot Almighty. It's definitely been very well received. We've had, guests, Phoenix, Mr. Vita, she's down there in the chat. Try to see anybody else who might have been on that's in the chat. I actually had my mom and Victoria. She's been working with us, and Aja is my co-host, and she's just been completely awesome as a co-host. Very diligent, very just very just diligent and really just her energy, it just matches mine, and we just get busy. So what we really, I guess oh, go ahead if you was gonna say something. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying, shout out to Aja.
Oh yeah, thanks. Yes, and she's knowledgeable, and that's what I wanted to add as well. So just so knowledgeable about gardening and food, and she has so much perspective. So what happened was, honestly, our the reason we put the Hot Almighty together was because of the response that people had to the High on the Hog documentary. So if anybody has seen that was on Netflix. I actually went back to watch it again because we're actually in the process of filming a documentary. So that's really what we were focused on first, which was making a documentary to counter the narrative that was on in High on the Hog, because that documentary definitely lied, and if not lied, definitely misrepresented many of our foodways, our American Indian foodways. So instead of getting upset and kind of just similar to what we're doing with this petition, instead of getting upset and huffing and puffing all over social media, I said, man, we got to make our own documentary. We got to make something to counter that. And, Aja jumped in, Vicky jumped in, you know what I'm saying? And they just came right in and said, hey, I'm down. I want to help out. I want to be a part. And they've been just so diligent. And we've just been able to interview so many people who have been able to tell their own story, have been able to correct a lot of the misinformation. And, we've talked to all type of people. We've talked to people within, the American Indian community. We've talked to people who are, archaeologists. We've talked to people who are, that archaeologist was outside of the American Indian community. You know what I'm saying? But he still was able to add on and correct a lot of the narrative about the monolithic ways that people look at American Indian foodways. So he was able to kind of like take away that myth that Indians only eat fry bread and they don't eat cornbread. You know what I'm saying? He was able to dispel that myth, and that's really what we started the show for. Was to, again, the documentary is really to promote the podcast is meant to promote the documentary. So that's going to be the next phase. But yeah, it was really just to change the narrative, just to change the narrative and not allow other people to control the narrative. And I feel like we've done a great job at that. And we definitely, we're on hiatus right now. So please, take a look at all of our episodes up until, now, and look forward to what we have coming. Definitely the documentary is coming and some more episodes. coming up soon. So I appreciate that, Phoenix. Definitely want to, get more people checking it out. So I see Mr. Vita dropped the link. Please click on that link, and then you can check us out. So I appreciate it.
Indeed, y'all. I'm telling y'all, it is so worth it. I think it's like it's so valuable. So you got to hear their chemistry is fire, and y'all know Damon's a chef. Aja got the green thumb, so their chemistry is just completely amazing. Thank y'all for kidnapping Grandma's cornbread back. Y'all went and got the great white northern beans back. Thank you for going to get the goddamn snap peas and the green beans and going to get all Grandma's stuff back. I appreciate y'all.
Oh, you're welcome. Yes, indeed. We had to do it. And come on, Phoenix, you already know. You've been talking about that cornbread, man. We can't let them have the cornbread. And they really been trying to take the cornbread. They really still been doing it, but we can't let them take it.
Yeah.
Y'all brought the grits back too. I appreciate that.
Already. You know how we do.
So I ain't gonna hold y'all too much. What's up, Joe Mo? How you doing, good brother? I'm just excited. I'm so glad to have been working with you guys or whatever. At our best is when we all together, putting those minds together to see what we come out with. And it all comes from the soul. And I know that's what makes us different. That's what makes us special. And that's what's going to, bring us across that finish line and shit. We're not afraid to do things from the soul, like the soul people we are. I just think that shit is so important that I remind people. There's some pride and integrity that comes with that. You know what I'm saying? Not to be taken lightly. So I just wanted to say to y'all beloved brothers, thank you so much for pulling up. We'll be back again. I'm gonna have the rest of the folks gonna be retaking turns. I'm gonna have a couple of others. Definitely Sister Celestine will be around. See if we can get Brother Night Owl and Professor Dean as well on the next round. And we shall talk again soon. Do y'all have any closing words? Drop it on the people one time.
But I definitely I see it. Brother Ishmael, he threw that down there. I
Oh
did notice
no,
it. Rest in peace to
Julio just
Coolio.
passed away. My
Yeah,
goodness.
yeah, rest in peace to Coolio. You
Oh,
already
rest
know.
in peace. We know for sure Julio was an engine.
Facts.
Oh man.
Yeah, I definitely want to say that. And just honestly, I guess after that, man, just sign the petition, please. That's what we ask you to do. Just sign the
Gangsta's
petition.
Paradise for real. Huh? Yeah. Moment of
I
silence for
think
Coolio. Thanks for sharing that.
that
Yeah.
definitely an icon, man. Sage and some smudge up for him.
Absolutely. I'm gonna definitely burn some of California's green buds for the brother. Send some supplications and do my libations and all that. Pour a little liquor out for him. Did you guys have any closing words?
Yeah, no, that was it. Like I said, I wanted to bring that up and just tell people just sign the petition. That's it. Go ahead, Dr. Nolan, you got it.
Y'all know I'm a hood brother at heart. Lamoken Village Project. That's where I grew up. Four generations of being in the projects. And that another reason why I was moved to assist with the petition. So ultimately, I hope everyone can at least find a common denominator after reading the petition, and then share it with three people. Share it with three people after you sign. Mr. Vita for posting it once again. And I yield my mic. Phoenix, once again.
Yeah, I was gonna say I see Latasha up here. Definitely gotta let her get it. Hey, what's up, Latasha?
Halito.
Nah,
Halito. It took me good reception. Out here in these streets, just left this. It was so amazing. I got to hear the last few minutes of the build, and as usual, doing it. Really got to make sure, like, even after tonight, just hearing the agendas is on in Capitol Hill. We're at a race for our heritage, and I spent a lot of time talking to the young brothers in the room, to the group of brothers from Florida, from Jacksonville, this event. And these brothers in here with gold teeth and Mayan, and they had these ironic sweatshirts on that said, "I am not a gang member." What kind of gangs is in Jacksonville? I don't know a lot about Jacksonville, but it was just very. And so I found my way over to the group of brothers, and I spent this last hour with them, and making sure that our youth are passing out this petition. And well, it was funny. One of the brothers, I said to him, I said, "What kind of Indian are you, Indian?" I asked, "What kind of Indian is you?" And the brother said, "I'm Appalachian." Beautiful. Your grandma told you? He said, "Yeah." And I said, "So how do you feel about this conference?" Because there was a serious narrative in there about Africa thing. And these are Black American officials of the Black Caucus talking about okay, so I need y'all to understand there's an agenda and to move it fast, because they know who we are and they know what we're trying to do. So I felt it was important to speak to the youth that were in the room and brothers and sisters around me, and shared the petition to all of them, shared to their people, and let them know all these old niggas in this room will be dead soon. I need y'all to know that. I need y'all to understand who y'all are, and don't let your grandmother's words fears, because the mission of tonight was 20 Black home ownership. But then when you get in there, they talking about by 2050 for making sure that Africa is rebuilt. This is the narrative of the Black Caucus. So please understand, there's no mincing of words of the fight that we are, for the fact that they know it. I walked up, I spoke to a Tuskegee Airman. He was Mayor Tommy Ford was his name. He was the mayor of Tuskegee, Alabama, and he's about 80 years old. And he told me himself that he was it's the most ironic thing when you walk around a room and you hear these people talking this Black and they can speak about their Indian so fluently. An attack happening, and some of our people are involved, especially when it comes to the level in this country. We are in a fight, and so this is so important. The young lady who created shared the petition with her and made sure she understood my position. Her mother told me that she's Chickahominy, and she's from the young sister just told the crowd that the future is Africa by 2050. This is not a game. It's not a game. That has been done. I just feel so blessed to be able to be in the presence of people that have done this work for so long that it legitimizes everything that we say when we walk in rooms. That this isn't no fly-by-night situation. Heard. This is a lineage that has to be preserved. And if it's, these children will find themselves on another continent by 2050. So sign the petition, share the petition, stand that we have to take this in our own hands. Ain't no cavalry coming to save us, to make this right for us. If we don't do it, it's not going to get done, because there are forces against us that have found comfort in fighting themselves and not their lineage. They found comfort in that it brings within these Congress walls, tie or any sort of moral fortitude for the fact that they're, and that's something that we can't take lightly. This fight lightly. We have to know that it for every person that signs this petition, we are liberating our grandparents, fought till their knuckles bleed. Some of them didn't win this war, guys. We know that. Phoenix wars were fought from the 1800s to now. There were so many wars. There were so many individual battles on this land, you know, and then to get to today, just willingly giving it up. It's a sad thing. It's a sad circumstance, and you know, maybe there's maybe about 6 people that were not melanated, and I consider them were not from anywhere other than this country. But the efforts, the movement of Black, of no matter, they're talking about our ancestors have fought for this. That's African group. Our ancestors fought, and Nigeria is going to be rejoicing. I'm like, what they even go together? How you go from our ancestors to Nigeria rejoicing, all in the same sentence, and nobody in.
Latai in and out a
And this
little
thing
bit.
that Phoenix.
Yeah, I
I'm
was gonna
sorry.
say,
Go ahead.
Natasha, back up. Oh no,
You went out.
it cut
You went
you out.
out.
Yeah, back up a little bit so we can hear you.
I'm sorry. I'm probably in a bad area. You know, it's just sad that Nigeria is rejoicing, and our ancestors fought for, are being said in the same sentence among Black Americans that are here, Congress and legislation, and all of these Black companies and American companies. But the goal was to liberate Africa. Like, how do we go from mission of 2045 to Black ownership of 2050 liberating Africa? Like, what serious business? And for the people in this room, like, you got to impose on your families and your friends and the people truth that this can't go unrecognized. We got to get to these 100,000. We need Congress to answer to the atrocities that have happened. Because without work, I walked up on several individual tribes, and fluently they were able to say them. It was just beautiful. And I walked up to her and I said, you look like my auntie. I said, I just want to say hi to you. Are you Cherokee? I said, you know what? My father is Cherokee, but I happen to think that most of my family is Saponi. I said, oh, okay, that is beautiful. Within 15 minutes, this hooker was on. It wasn't 15 minutes later, this hooker was on the stage talking about Africans. Like within 15 minutes.
I believe it. They playing both sides of the fence. That's what I said earlier. But go ahead, keep going, because you spelled it out.
It's hurtful. You know what I mean? It's hurtful to our elders. This woman wasn't she wasn't a whippersnapper. She was beautiful. I know she was 70. She could have passed for 40. Atrocity. And it's like the blue and red appeal. You can't unknow what you know. I can't stand here and unknow what I know. So I gravitated to the young people in the room whose minds weren't cemented in this bullshit. I made sure that these brothers knew who they were, and they already knew. Surprise, just in process of being indoctrinated standing in this room. Yeah. A lot of our hope is going to be with the youth. I'm going to spend a lot of time HBCU campuses up because I can see a lot of our time is going to have to be spent. These old niggas, they gone. It's over. They've sold their soul to the devil, child. And we're not going to change them. But these children in my blood, I feel like these kids, they have to know. If they know better, they will do. So please, ladies and gentlemen, let's get the world, let it in with you signing the petition. Share, because it's flying through our community. They got a 50-year on this black shit anyway. We know that. But the fact that right now, because what's coming, so they on overdrive. Yeah. To bring us to a place where we are in submission and we like, fuck, we just gonna be black. There's a submission game. It's an arm wrestling game going on. A decision: are we gonna push through, or are we gonna let these niggas submit us? Because I've never seen so many black faces in one space on some bull. And you know, you see it at a parade or a concert or whatever, but at it's hitting different for me. Urgency is so much more greater. I need y'all to understand this is about your grandchildren to know the truth. For your great grandchildren in 15 minutes, y'all. I guarantee this shit didn't take long. Our ancestors, it didn't take long. Time we will be 80. And if we ain't sat down and laid out this foundation left. So please, I urge all of y'all, sign, talk about it, let people know. Let's get the 1,000 signatures. Let's make Congress answer us the reason why they feel that they are going to genocide the indigenous people of this land. What makes them think this is? Don't agree. We're not in agreement. And we have, because I'm gonna tell you, these niggas out here ain't speaking for us. They're not speaking for their own pocketbooks. And the time to come and recap the event, and yeah, just sign, share. Okay, let you about it and send them our way if they got questions, because we got answers. I'm 11.
Yeah, I love what you said last. You're right. We got answers. We ain't coming with problems. We coming with solutions. So I agree. Phoenix, I know you up there. I know you was about to shut it down. So if you got the last word.
Well, Tasha pretty much saw, and you on the repeat. Listen, we all we got. CMB, we all we got.
We all we got.
All we got.
Facts. LA boys, you know, I grew up on Atlantic Avenue, so yeah, LA boys.
The erasure is real, like, you know, they not even factoring us in. Everything is all black, everything.
I told them brothers, y'all are the last of the Mohicans, literally. And y'all better make sure that statement don't ring true. Get your babies together. Start talking to them. Start talking to you. Get it together, child. Right. All we got is us.
That's it.
7 generations.
And you know what? We're just enough. We're just enough. Just so you know. Just because it looks like we small, I'd rather be with 300 Indians than standing in a crowd of 10 million motherfuckers who don't know squat. So that's what it is. But we're going to stop the erasure. We're going to stop the misclassification. We are going to stop the forced assimilation, and make it do what it do. I want to thank you all. Latasha, boots on the ground, straight from work into work. And you went to your next job. I appreciate you so much, sister. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Yes. We in the building.
Yeah.
Can't stop,
Yes.
won't stop. Thank you, brothers, for joining. We'll be back. Y'all gonna see me around. I'm gonna be hopping from platform to platform because everybody needs to see this petition. Straight like that. So that's what we're gonna do. But love is love. Take care of yourselves. Definitely take care of each other. Keep
Will do.
grandma and grandpa in full focus. That's what it is. Love, peace, and hair grease and bear grease. You already know. Chapisa Chike.
Peace, y'all. Nah, people.
Peace, Sean.